Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today in this video I'm going to do a hands-on review of the new T16 remote controller from Jumper LC. In this video I'm going to go over the main features of this remote controller, and in the next few days I'm going to upload a more detailed review, so in case you have any questions about this remote controller, feel free to ask them in the comment section down below and I will try to answer them in the upcoming video. Inside the box, along with the remote controller, you're getting an X-strap with the Jumper logo, a USB to mini USB cable, these parts that will enable you to switch between other modes, and the default flight mode is mode 2, and you're also getting a screen protector, which is a nice add-on. On the back of the T16, inside the gel module bay, you can find a multi-protocol TX module, which is an updated version of the one that has been included with the T12 remote controller. It will allow you to control dozens of protocols, and its configuration is done for the remote controller. In addition, as you probably know, the T16 is fully compatible with the Crossfire module. The working voltage is between 7 to 8.4 volts, so you can simply use a 2S LiPo battery or use this tray which is provided with the remote controller and use two 18650 batteries, which you will need to get separately, and you also need to know that you won't be able to charge these batteries when placed inside the remote controller, and you will need to charge them externally. On the bottom of the battery bay, next to the 2S balance plug, you can find a 500 MB micro SD card, which is preloaded with the JumperTX SD card contents. On the sides of the T16, you can find removable rubber grips. Removing them will enable you to change the tensions of the gimbals, so you can simply adjust the tension using a Phillips screwdriver. However, in order to change between the different modes, you will need to open the remote controller. I'm going to tell you in advance that even though changing the spring tension has some effects on the gimbals, it's not a very big one. Moving on to the front of the remote controller, the first thing you probably notice about it is the big 4.3-inch color LCD screen, and in case you wonder, this is not a touchscreen, and in order to set the remote controller features, you will need to use these buttons which are located next to it. As its name implies, the T16 is a 16-channel remote controller. Next to each control, we can find its marking. So first of all, on the sides, we can find the RS and LS dials. On the center, the S1 and S2 potentiometers. Over here, you can find the SH momentary switch. On the other side, the SF 2-position switch. Next to them, another 3-position switches. And finally, on the front, you can find another 4 3-position switches. Next to the gimbals, which are double bearing gimbals and not Hall sensor ones, you can find trim buttons, on the center the power button, and over here you can find a pretty loudspeaker. Turning on the T16 is done by long pressing the power button.
Welcome to JumperTX.
Then you can hear the Welcome to JumperTX, and you can also see the logo. Let's just remove this screen protector. As you can see, the screen is very big and noticeable. Over here you can see the battery status, the volume of the speaker, the RSSI, of course, if a receiver that supports RSSI is connected, the date and time, the trim positions, and these widgets which are configurable. When I'm going to post my detailed review, I'm going to get into more specific details, but now I'm going to only show you that entering the system menu is done by long pressing the system button, and then you can simply use the roller button in order to select an option. Using the page button is going to switch between the pages. And over here, for example, you can see the Crossfire menu on the SD card, so you can select an option by pressing this button. Long pressing this button will enable you to execute the script, for example. If you'd like to go back, you can press the return button, and you can go back to the previous page by long pressing the page button. Long pressing the roller button will open up this menu, and then you can select more models. If you'd like to create a new one, you can long press it again, and you can create a model or duplicate an existing one. Long pressing the model button will open up this menu, which is very similar to the one that OpenTX is using, because after all, this is JumperTX, which was forked from OpenTX. So in case you are an FrSky user, you're going to feel pretty much at home. Over here, you can configure the model. By default, the model that it's using is the multi-protocol model, and it's set to FrSky. You can also change the settings, and you can also configure other dozens of protocols that will enable you to control pretty much every quadcopter that is out there. Finally, long pressing the telemetry button is going to take you to the screen where you can set up the widgets which are shown on the main screen. When you wish to turn off the T16, long press the power button and then it will be turned off. In terms of dimensions, the T16 is very big and it's pretty much the same size of an FrSky X9D Plus transmitter. It weighs about 815 grams, including two 18650 batteries and the multi-protocol TX module. Here you can see how it looks next to the Jumper T12, the FrSky X-Lite, and the underground FlySky Nirvana. So of course it is much bigger than them, which can be both good or bad, depending on your personal preference. Personally, I think that the T16 feels very good in the hand, and it's suitable both for thumbing and pinching. Now, by the way, the gimbal sticks are replaceable and adjustable, so first of all you can adjust the height, and you can also replace them with other sticks which are sold by companies like STP Hobby. The Y travel length of the gimbal is about 27.5mm and the X travel distance is about 24mm, so it's about 10% less than the gimbal of the Taranis X9D Plus and about 10% more than the travel distance of the Jumper T12. As I mentioned before, these are not Hall sensor gimbals, but still the quality feels pretty good. One thing that I still didn't mention is the price of the Jumper T16. I guess you already know it, but it cost $150, which is pretty much outstanding considering that you're getting a high quality remote controller, including a multi-protocol TX module for this price. That's going to be it for the hands-on review of the Jumper T16 remote controller. I'm going to leave you with some flight footage, which wasn't amazing since it was the first time that I used this remote controller and it does take some time to get used to it. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, if you have any questions about this remote controller, feel free to ask them in the comment section down below, and I'm going to try to answer your questions once I'm going to upload the full review. As always, I thank you for watching my videos and see you soon on my next reviews.